Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today we are going to do next chapter of advanced structure, which is functions of in and un. We've already um, we've already studied in and un before, but there are some more functions that are associated with these two, you can say, harfs, and those are the functions we are going to study in this chapter. So let's get started. So un, it has basically, you can say, its function vary. We've already learned about harf nasibatul mudare, which is a harf un, which makes mudare light, not lightest. It makes it mansoob. Then you will now further study an al masdariya. You have, I think, studied this in compound ism, but we are further going to look into it. Then an taliliya, and un in the meaning of lest. Lest means in order to avoid the risk of something, you say this word that lest this will happen, like God forbid something will happen or something like that. Then un starting a quote. That's one function. Then an al mukhaffafa, which is actually just anna, and sometimes anna does not have a shadda and fatha, and in place of that there is a sakoon. So that's basically an al mukhaffafa, and I'll tell you how can you spot that. An al mufassira, which means clarifying something. An azaida, and also we have yeah, that's about all the uns. Now let's come to in. We have already studied in as adwatu shartu jazima, in as shart. If something happens, and if you remember, these shart make fail mudare lightest, jazima, madzum. Then in, if you remember in, I think intermediate Nahu, you must have learned in plus la makes illa. So this is two things. These are the two things we have already done. But there is in an-nafiya, which is negation, in, and there is in al-mukhaffafa, which is again the same as inna. Sometimes inna comes without shadda and fatha, just like anna over here, al-mukhaffafa. So that's something that we are going to study. So right now we are just going to look at these four un and their function. Let's get started. So in a simple sentence, you can say yazhabu ilal masjidi, which will be translated, which is a simple jumla fi'liya. He goes to the masjid. But if you put that in, let's say, yuridu, he wants to go to the masjid. If you notice over here, just a second, if you notice over here, yes, so this mudare is mansoob. That is the effect an has on it. And if you translate it, you can also put the masdar, which is this az-zahaba, and this will be written as yuridu az-zahaba ila al-masjidi. So this, if you see, the translations are the same. So basically, this fail with un is interchangeable with the masdar of the masdar of this yeah. So if you notice that uh, so if you see that the jumla failure transforms into a masdar, that's what we learned. We also see that translates as a masdar. Over here also, it's not really translated as an active fail. He wants to go to the masjid. So to go to the masjid is not something actively happening. So it's something he wants to do. And over here also, you can see that, it's translated, masdar is translated as masdar, but over here with an, it is also translated as masdar. Then you can see that both jumla failure and masdar are interchangeable in the sentence, which means you can translate both of them in the same manner. Now let's look at an at-taliliya, which is, you can say, an of reasoning. So over here, if you say waqala rajulun mu'minun, mu'minu man ali fir'auna yaktumu imanahu ataqtuluna rajulan an yaqula rabbi rabbi Allahu. So over here, a believing man from the family of Pharaoh who was hiding his faith said, will you kill a man because? So because he says, so over here, if you say, will you kill a man? Because. An is basically translated because. It's giving the reason for something. So here it is, you can say, an at-talilia. He says, my Lord is Allah. So if you see it translates as because, giving a reason. Talil basically means a reason. And it means to give a reason or to explain something. Now let's look at un in the meaning of lest. Now over here, if you read the ayah, basically over here, and he has cast into earth firmly set mountains, alqal ardi rawasiya, an tamida bikum wa anharan wa subulan la'allakum tahtadun, lest it sway with you, and made rivers and roads that you may be guided. So over here, if you see, the translation can also be in order to avoid the risk of it swaying with you or sway with you. And so if you see, this lest means basically you're trying to avoid something. So this is, why it is being done. Lest, God forbid this would happen, something like that. So it's expression of caution or risk, you can say. Now, starting a quote. So over here, you see wanado. So by the way, it is not, does not start a quote of kala. Kala starts its quote with in. But here, nado ashab al jannati. So they called out. And what did they say? So it's opening a quote. Peace be upon him. So this is what un is basically opening a quote. So this, you can say, this word saying and this quote can be a replacement or a translation of un. So this whole thing is in the quote. So salamun alaikum, peace be upon him. So it indicates the beginning of a quote, basically beginning, and you can say the quote itself. Word saying can be added. I'm going to add C over here. So can be added to capture the function. Un opens the quote whether it is Jumla failure or Jumla. So over here it's Jumla Ismiya, but it can also open a quote of Jumla failure. And un will only affect the status of fail mudari. So if the quote is a failure, a jumla failure, and it has mudari, it will only open the it will only affect the mudari. Otherwise, it won't affect it. So thank you. And this was the presentation related to un and in. We are going to continue this, inshallah, tomorrow. But if there are any questions related to the use of un that we have done so far, these 4 uses, please feel free to post on the group, and someone on the group will be able to answer, inshallah. Jazakallahu khairan. Bismillah. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.